Welcome to episode 9 of the HAWKENING. We're hawking, and today we have our first guest ever on this thing that we do.
Yeah.
Jony Roy from Pixel Point Media. Explain yourself, Jony.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Jony. I shoot videos with my camera, and if you've seen this, I helped with that.
Show him the.
Oh yeah.
There you
go.
Oh, get it! Oh, right in there.
So, yeah, I shoot music videos. I shot a couple things with these guys, and I shoot music videos with other people too.
Yeah.
And that's me.
Nice. This is Jony. All of his videos are blue.
Yes. Purple and blue.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how we met Jony and how we started working together and why we wanted to do this. Because you were the first guest that we jotted down when we first said we should have guests on the show.
I'm honored, by the way. Thank you for that.
Yeah, man. No, our first music video ever, Comfortable, was with you, but we met you long before that at Matador.
Yeah.
House show that we were doing. Did you shoot all the bands that night?
No, I don't even know what I was doing. I just had a camera, and I was like, man, these guys sound good. I should just shoot them like with my just crappy little handheld setup.
Oh yeah.
It's got this cool little flare filter on it, so it'll look so cinematic, guys. Yeah, exactly. And at the time, I thought it was amazing, and I was just like, hey guys, you're cool. Yeah. And like secretly I was like, man, I want to work with these guys at some point. I want to do a music video. Because at that point I was doing so many music videos locally, and I was like, I need to get Hawking on the list that I've worked with. So I shot this. I was like, here's some footage. Yeah, there you go.
Well, it's sort of a dream to have the videographer that you work with like your music, because so many times they pick up projects that they may not enjoy and love and get.
You get quite a variety of people to work with.
Yeah, no, it's nice to be on the good side of
it. I think that's pretty important to us too, having that kind of personal connection from the video.
Well, it's taking the work out of it and just making it a combined vision.
Yeah, if you're playing the game that you want to play and you guys work well together and it's like everything gels, it's not work anymore. It's a collaborative thing. I think that's the approach you want to have with your team in general, right?
We've been really careful with that. The only person we took on so far was Graham, really.
Yeah. Shout out to Graham.
Yeah. We've talked about him in other podcasts.
We love Graham. If you don't know who Graham is, go watch the previous episodes of the HAWKENING.
Yeah. Or come to a live show and you'll see him.
Oh, you'll see Graham.
Best roadie ever.
Because your drums will break.
Yeah. We'll fix them while I play. So, yeah.
But yeah, so we should talk about how we got from shooting our first music video ever, super DIY, super low budget for Comfortable.
Yeah.
And what the
process.
We
weren't your first music video.
No. I the way I got started was originally I was in a local band.
Yeah.
So I've got a little bit of that background, which I think helps out because I was in a band called Green Tree, played some local shows, toured to Alberta a couple times.
Yeah.
And that was kind of our high school thing. And then the band broke up and I got really depressed and I needed a creative outlet. So I picked up a DSLR because one of the guys in our band, Brant, he did a little bit of that sort of stuff. He did a few cover videos for local bands. And I was really impressed by it. I was like, wow, that's so cool. How do you make it look so good? You have manual focus. So I picked up a DSLR and I think it was
revolutionary.
The band Sharks on Fire. They had their last show ever. That's how they marketed it.
And you filmed that, right?
Yeah. I was just I had my little DSLR. I had a little neck strap thing, and I just started shooting it. And I was like, damn, I can just get these guys outside, have them talk a little bit about their experience, and make a really cool kind of almost send-off sort of project for them.
Sweet.
And it just snowballed from there. And then bands were like, hey, wait, no, Jony does video?
Yeah.
Oh, let's get Jony to do video. And started at very low budgets. Then slowly it started snowballing to larger and larger things. And then,
music videos for bands is terrifying to think about, because how much money am I going to have to put into? What are the ideas we're going to use?
Yeah.
Where can we go? How can we make it better? So for us, working with you on our first music video felt really good because you've been in a band, you understand how it works, you filmed live shows and stuff. So that's why I enjoyed working with
Most
you.
importantly, you've been in the position of having the budget that a band has, which is nuts.
That's the other thing, yeah.
Well, that's one of the first questions that bands always have for you, I'm guessing, is like, how do we do this for like $300?
Mm-hmm.
What's the answer?
And that's the challenge. Like, I don't always know the answer, because it's always about, when you're a videographer doing stuff with musicians, it's very different than when you're doing corporate stuff, because the people who do corporate stuff charge way more, and it's great. It lets them build their business and move forward. But when you're working on the music side, you have to understand that local bands don't have a ton of money, because the industry in general doesn't have a ton of money. And you have to decide, like, do I want to work with this? And in my case, it's kind of worth it, because it's not really creatively draining for me to work with bands. I prefer it.
Right.
So it's a challenge, because you'll go through kind of waves where you have a lot of projects and you're like, oh yeah, I could do like another little one for a few $100. And then you have other times where you're like, yeah, but I probably should charge more. So that's always kind of a difficult thing, I find.
I'm assuming bands have a ton of questions about that. Like, how can they go about budgeting themselves for a video? So we can talk about how we made comfortable and how we kept ourselves within the budget while still executing what we wanted.
I mean, the way to save costs has been and always will be do it yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the ultimate. With Comfortable, a lot of people don't know this. That white room that's in Comfortable, that's my garage.
Yeah.
And it did not look like that.
Yeah. Usually a
when we
space like
started.
that would cost $500, so why not just make a little infinity wall and do it ourselves?
Yeah, it went pink.
It went pink! It went off! Hey, Chris? The lights turned off. The lights turned off.
They went pink for a bit and then they went away.
Rocket League is live on Twitch. It's dark.
Okay, that's staying.
We DIY'd an infinity wall.
Yep.
And we put a white backdrop on the floor, and it was filthy, but
I put it in the wash after. It was all
yeah,
good.
exactly. It was not a perfect, clean infinity white room. We cheated the hell out of that.
We just put a ton of lights. You guys had some soft boxes on you,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
we worked with that.
Again, which we borrowed. We borrowed from a family friend who had some photography equipment, and we're like, we need lighting. So yeah, again, we didn't have costs there. I think that's
And all the
thing.
furniture inside there was stuff from
Yeah,
your
the
basement.
TV was my actual old.
It just happened to fit the image, but
Yeah, we were like, shit, that's perfect.
you find a way to make your vision work without spending the money that you don't want to.
Think about also how much lighting is just
Yes.
going to come into it. Like we saved a ton of money by having our own, and I think it was just 2 soft boxes and some. I don't know what we.
I think I might have rented some soft lighting on top, because I just wanted to light the crap out of it. And
because we
make
needed
sure
it bright.
Yeah, and it was bright. I was so happy. It was like so bright. I have
so
so many
excited
more
about it.
options.
It also begs a question. A lot of people have asked why we bought such extensive lights for our show. But this can also be for playthroughs. It can be for videos, so we don't have to buy it later on.
Yeah.
Like, you always think 2 steps ahead, making sure that what you buy is worth it.
Yeah, we haven't ended up using any of it, but we actually shot some playthrough videos.
Yeah.
With our stage lights.
Yeah.
And it works. I mean, it's LED lighting on stage is a different application than for videos. But
Like, why rent lights every single time when you can just
if it
purchase?
looks good on an iPhone, which is what 99% of people are going to be watching it on, you can't really pull punches because it's not a Red Epic.
Yeah.
You can't, you know what I mean? And that's the other thing too. A lot of bands will blow their money on a Red Epic or
Yeah, well, I
whatever.
mean, you'll get a lot of people who are like, hey, what camera do you shoot on? And I'm like, hey, I shoot on this camera. And I'm like, but do you use like a Red Epic? And I'm like, look at my portfolio. Do you like what
I'm
you
not
see?
Peter Jackson. The Hobbit.
It's like you can shoot on a good camera, and there's been some great.
a hobbit.
Right?
But at the end of the day, you need to have a good concept. And I mean, like, what really helps, honestly, is if the band has something that really connects to their music and they have an idea going forward. Like Comfortable, that was a lot of that was you guys. It wasn't me.
We put the shot list together. No.
Yeah.
We put the scene list together, and then we gave it to you.
I
and you
tweaked
did,
it, but
and
yeah.
you did the shots. But we came with the concept ready, and it's like,
Yeah, the more work you can do on your end,
Yeah.
and the fewer jobs you can give the person you're hiring, the more likely you can do something in that budget.
You know a guy who knows a guy. you know, who has some lights or who has a space you can use. And if it's not the exact space that you want, you make it work. We had the white room wasn't going to be a white room. It was going to be a log cabin.
Yeah, that's
Originally, like way back when we were doing fun fact for you kids at home.
We were gonna do some crazy stuff with snow.
Yeah, and we were like, okay, can't do fucking fake snow.
Yeah, I was like, that's gonna look too fake, guys.
Yeah,
I can do it.
Can't do. We were gonna. There was a lot of stuff we wanted to do, and then we were like, well, how can we do it for $2 and a bit of string?
Yeah. But yeah, be available for leeway. Make sure that your idea can shift. Have a strong sense of what you want, but make sure it works.
Like, have the concept be so strong that no matter what you do, and that, by the way, shout out to you for making our concept for Comfortable. A girl in a white room, that abstract thing, that could have been so cheesy. It could have been so cheesy. And maybe it was. I don't know. Sorry.
You tell us in the comments.
No, it wasn't. Fuck you.
Yeah, don't say yes.
I remember showing it to some people, and they're like, "Wow, that's the first music video you did that looks like a music video." I was like, "Oh, wow, all right." I don't know if that's like a backhanded compliment.
It's so backhanded. No, but that's what we got too. Was like, this is the first thing you guys have done that feels like real. That feels like you're a real band, and it's like, thanks, buddy.
That's the power of having a video, though. We can make the best produced stuff we can make, but no one will take us seriously unless we make a music video, which is ridiculous. But like, okay, I guess so. I guess that's what defines people.
Well, and the other thing to talk about is a music video it's a medium that was born many years ago.
Yeah.
It's even the consumption of visual media has evolved to the point. So.
For sure. It benefits somewhat. That format benefits from the fact that there's way more video now on social media and everything like that. But we're seeing that change. People's attention spans are really small. We could see that landscape just change so much in the next few years.
But we feel that in audio as well. Like, you can't release an album anymore. People will just track 1, track 2, last track, done.
Yeah,
like that's literally what I do sometimes.
Or really the starred songs on, or
the most popular.
If I'm checking out a band on Spotify, I'm not gonna go look at their different records. I'm gonna click the stuff at the top.
Yeah.
And it's even I was discussing this. I don't know who with the other day, but if all Spotify would have to do because they saved albums. And even as much as albums aren't a thing, Spotify saved albums because the first thing that comes up after the top 5 songs is albums.
Oh, yeah.
If the first thing that came up after that was 5 more of the top singles, it's a different landscape. Same with Facebook. They started accentuating the video thing, and it's like and giving those more reach. So,
but they don't show that. They don't show
the algorithms are smart. It's learn to work with them. But I mean, what I want to get at more is like, what do you think? What do you think the evolution of when music videos were on TV? I mean, that to the internet is obvious, but more from 2007, the internet, where you upload your video to YouTube and you're done. Versus now, where you have to follow it up with short form and stuff like that. Like,
make sure it's accessible on Instagram with the 60-second limit, like stuff like that.
Like, do you think is the music video dead?
Yeah,
I don't think
clickbait, fake news,
music video dead.
I don't think it's dead yet, and I think the reason why you still see it a lot is, I mean, you've got a product which is a song, and you want to have something visual to go with that product, to like add a sense of tangibility. Is that the word?
That's interesting to think about.
And I mean, the other thing too is when you're a band and you're releasing music, like that's your baby.
Like, is a song a song if it's only a song?
Oh, that's a sad thought.
You know what I mean? Is a song a song? Like, if I can't share that song.
Yeah.
Well, one thing is, isn't like the largest music streaming site technically YouTube?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Well, there you go. That's a video medium, and you're going to keep people pulled in if you have something constantly going. And like some people, what they do is they just release the song with like some visuals, maybe an audio waveform. We kind of did that with when we did the Diverge album.
Yeah, we had for those of you who haven't seen, for this dude's a content wizard.
Thank you.
Well, you shot. It was funny. We've gotten so much mileage out of what you shot
Oh
for us
my
at
God.
our release show at the Rickshaw. We had all these 15-second promos for all the shows on our last tour that you edited together with just the best, few little live clips from that one show.
Yeah.
And we used the live footage from that for the official audio videos, and it's just a loop of some really good shots of us live with the audio waveform, and it's not a lot, but it looks good, and it's just one way to deliver sort of what we felt was next level content.
Yeah. And that was our way of sort of having
On the cheap.
having a video with audio that still kept people engaged, and that wasn't just like a normal lyric video or something. Like, you need the video aspect to accompany the audio, so doing the lyric videos is a great idea, to not spend that much money, not go through that much trouble to have video accompanying with it. But what you did by filming us live and using that for our lyric video, and using that, it still kept people engaged watching us play. It was like a music video, but it wasn't.
I think the way you could see things moving is, I don't think the music video is going to die anytime soon. I think too many artists really want a music video for their product. Like, there's that side of the thing.
Right.
And then it's also, I think there are too many areas where it's still very beneficial. I think what you might see, though, is the weight that you put on a music video versus other content that's visual is going to go down. Like, I'm already kind of hearing about this now. Record labels don't put nearly as much money into, like, $50,000 music videos anymore. Instead, they're going to put money into cheaper music videos and focus more of that money on other social content. So whether that is like Instagram stories, whether that is just like somebody to follow somebody on tour to get clips, like I think a lot of the supplemental video content that is more regular and keeps people engaged over a long period of time, I could see that becoming much more of the focus.
Taking over from the focus.
Well, that's what I guess we're trying to accomplish as well. We always try and keep the content game up. And
Well, that's always after the how do we do it for $2 and a bit of string.
Yeah.
The next most popular question is how, once you've been doing it for a bit,
Yeah.
how do you take it to the next level? And what does the next level look like?
Because we did Broken Glass with you.
Yep.
Our second single, I guess you could call it. And we sort of wanted to up, but we're a band that likes people watching what we play. So how can we play on that aspect, but make it not a band in a room playing?
Yeah, that was the main topic of discussion. Comfortable was a band in a room playing.
Yeah.
Broken Glass was also a band in a room playing, but we tried to give it a little bit more, like, do you want to talk a bit about how...
Yeah. Well, in the case of Comfortable, we were usually working with what our options were for location. So, for example, for the performance shots, we literally, it's just one black backdrop that I tape to a wall. And then we've got like a couple lights on the side of you guys giving you that kind of blue edge light.
Really narrow.
And we were really like specific with the how we were getting that shot. So when we moved on to Broken Glass, which is a bit of a higher energy song, I wanted to really open it up, make it feel a lot more dynamic, have a lot more energy to it. So in that case, we actually got into more set design in a way, because it's hard to find a space. But actually, this is a big part of budgets. Like, a lot of people don't think about what it's going to cost to get the location and the set design that you want. A lot of the time, you're working with what you've got. In the case of Broken Glass, we kind of were somewhere in the middle. We found a space that worked for us for our budget, but then we were like, well, let's make the windows blue, and let's like have some lighting coming from outside of them, and that is actually a huge amount of work to set that up.
Yeah, that was the majority of the budget for that video.
Yeah, and also having more dynamic lighting behind you guys. It was just, we had to have a much larger crew just to pull that off.
Yeah, you had to have
I think it paid
lamp
off. I
ops.
think it's a cool look, but it's definitely, there's definitely a lot more stuff we did with that one to give it that more dynamic vibe.
But it shows how both of our sort of brands work together to one-up each other. And like, we wanted a bigger music video, so we figured out a way where we can have a bigger crew, get better lighting, and just bring both products better.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the big thing for us.
Yeah, and that's something we've talked about a lot, and I think we'll probably be talking about more. With Jony and on our own. So for you, what does the future of visual creative look like for bands?
I think that it's going to branch out into a lot of things. At the end of the day, like I kind of mentioned earlier, I think you're going to see people wanting to make more and more content to keep people engaged. I think you really want to be showing, like when you're a band, you want to show your audience kind of the process and the progression of moving forward. I think that gives an energy.
I think the fans like to feel like they're growing with the artist.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
So what I could see is more focus on that story with the band, more focus on that journey with the band. And once again, I still see music videos being a big thing. I think you want to have a product that feels significant when you release something, but I think that journey is going to be
kind of like
a much bigger part.
Your website is your central hub, and then you've got your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Your music video is the central landing page for, I want to check out this band. I'm going to search them up. Their video is going to come up because you know what that's going to be.
Thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same reason, somebody who books a festival likes to get a Spotify link, YouTube link, Bandcamp link. They don't want to get a link to your Reverb Nation player because they don't know if it's going to work on their BlackBerry when they go to show the organizer of the festival or whatever. People like to know what they're getting. So
well, in a way, the music video is a TLDR of what your band stands for. It's like, how much money are you going to put towards a video? What kind of production are you putting into it? What kind of story?
I never thought about.
Are you a shit disturber? Are you someone who takes it seriously? Like, you can really tell through music videos whether someone cares or not.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it gives people, sometimes it's false, it's not actually true, but it gives people a vibe of what kind of people you are. It gives people a vibe of, once again, like, are you going to put the time and effort into producing that content? Like how serious you are as a band. And it also gives them the song. Like it gives them pretty much everything.
Yeah, that's true.
All together in one package.
Are you going to make it look like shit because looking like shit's fucking sweet?
So
DIY.
So I could still see that being a big factor. And as it gets easier and easier to make cinematic content because cameras are always getting better and there's new lighting solutions, I think you'll still see more of that. But once again, I think we're also going to see a lot of that showing like the deeper cuts, if you will, of the band.
Makes sense, yeah. Well, like you said, the video is the TLDR. Well, your story, your Instagram story, or whatever your short form thing you're doing is the little clips you post on Facebook, what have you, or whatever medium evolves, in the near future. That's the long form.
It shows the realistic nature.
Yeah, that shows the detail.
And I think for a lot of bands, that's just an afterthought. Like, oh, I guess I'll take this Instagram video and post it. I think that's going to be a much more serious part of the content strategy for a lot of bands.
Most of what we talk to you about, like, aside from making videos and stuff, is other content that we can make and how to one up what has been the standard for fucking years and years and years. Everything's been the same when it comes to not just music videos, but fucking just content in general.
Like, work with the medium that's there and where people's eyeballs already are to tell the story or to show them what your band is about.
Yeah. And I think if you're making use of like newer features on social media and that it gives you it communicates to your audience that you care about the content you release and you're on top of it.
It's philanthropic in nature in that you're doing it because you want to help your fans. Like, it's out of love.
Yes.
You want to help your fans like you easier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most of being a band, we've mentioned this so many times, is like you want people to see what happens behind the scenes. You, in a sense, you want to see them see you struggle because they appreciate what you do more.
I think the day of the illusion of bands being cool is so long gone.
That died with Motley Crue.
You know what I mean? Like, I think the day of where people see how nerdy this setup that we do is.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening right now.
If anybody who knows our band knows that we always try and, make our own worth. And we want to bring that worth to, where people complain. Like you always say, people complain, why are we paying $10 for a show? We take that and we say, what do they want to pay for? They want to see a cool light show. They want to see a timeless band.
Bands complain that fans won't pay X amount of dollars for their product or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, it's like, why don't people... like a million reasons, dude.
Yeah.
A million dead obvious reasons that are right in front of your face and are actionable.
Yeah.
You can fix them. I mean, that's
take
kind
it
of,
upon yourself.
That's what we've all talked about a lot, man, and that's why we wanted to have you on again, because you're not, like you said, you're not just here's what you want, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
it's like this has been a fantastic partnership that we've had for the music videos and for everything, because it's a co-creative kind of thing, you know, and I think it's really important to build community, even if it's on a micro level.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, if you're in a band and you want a video or you want anything that's sort of in that, I don't know how to, on the video screens and shit. If you want a picture or video, see this dude.
Dynamic visual content.
It's like this shitty advertisement with like this.
The exec you speak.
Okay, you're not going to be making music videos forever.
It definitely won't be my only thing. I'm
Do you
definitely
have
gonna
do you have a
branch out
bigger
more.
plan for what you want to continue doing? You know, because you want to continue working with bands and stuff.
Yeah, no, I love working with musicians. Once again, it's kind of part of my background, and it's a great vibe. I love working on the music industry side of things. But I do want to branch out because there's only so many music videos you can make, especially if you're working with the same budget for a while, where you start running out of ideas. And once again, it's great if the band has the idea, but you know, eventually I stop feeling like I'm being like challenged creatively.
Yeah, like you utilized properly.
Yeah,
for your
exactly.
actual abilities.
So, I mean, what I've been moving into is doing smaller projects that are doing more of the supplemental content, because it's a good way to stay busy and make things more consistent. But on the other end, now I'm thinking like, well, maybe I should get involved in more narrative stuff. Maybe I should get involved in stuff that breaks the format a little bit, because at the end of the day,
Because I think the format needs to be broken once in a while.
exactly.
Oh,
That's
for
how
sure.
that's how things move forward.
We can't keep recycling content. So I think what you're doing is very important. We appreciate you very much so. Buy his new album.
Blue, kind of blue.
Kind of blue.
So basically, what you want to turn into is the one-stop shop for independent level bands on the visual creative front, right? Like,
I think that's where it's going. I mean, I'm still figuring it out too. It's always an evolving process and seeing what works and what doesn't. But definitely, that's kind of a good way to describe where I want to go with things.
nice. Well, for those of you who didn't know Jony before this podcast, Pixel Point Media is his company. Check that out.
We'll tag them below.
Yeah, we'll do the tag and the doobly-doo. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this has been rad. Check them out. Peace.
You can do it.
And so